Hey everyone, today I am going to teach you how to transform an HTML template into a WordPress theme. Now, you may have a website already that is a static HTML website and you want to convert it into a WordPress theme, or you might have seen a really nice HTML template online which doesn't have the WordPress theme as well, and you want to convert that into its own WordPress theme. Let's do it. So let's get started. The first thing I have is a basic web server setup which uses XAMPP. If you Google XAMPP, X-A-M-P-P, you can load it on your Windows PC, and I think you can do it on Mac as well. And you can then basically build your WordPress site on your computer. WordPress is obviously already set up here. We have a basic installation, and if I've actually deleted posts and pages just to keep things nice and simple. And we currently have the theme which is 2019 set up. We don't want to use 2019. We're going to create our own theme, but I've just got it there to show you what the standard look of WordPress is. So let's firstly go into our Sublime text editor, or whatever editor you're using. And this is the WordPress installation, and inside the themes folder you'll see 2019 is there. What we want to do is delete 2019, and we want to create our own theme. So let's create a new folder, and we're going to just call it, I'm just going to call it theme. And inside theme we need to set up a few things so that WordPress detects it to be a theme. So the first thing we need to do is create a style.css file, okay? And this is what WordPress actually looks at to find out the name of your theme. And without the style.css, it will definitely not work. Actually, I don't think I put it inside the theme folder, did I? No, I'm going to delete that, and we'll do it inside the theme folder. There we go. Okay. Inside style.css, we want to do a couple of things, and it's just really basic. So we'll do a / and then an asterisk, and then we'll do theme name, and we'll just call it, I'm just going to call it test theme. And then underneath that, I'm just going to do author, Mr. Digital. Now you can do much more than that. You can do the author, URL, the description, license, version, all of that sort of stuff. But just to keep it simple, we can do that. If you'd like to know more about that, just Google main style.css on WordPress, and WordPress will give you all the options that you can use. Now that we have the main style.css, we need to create a couple of other files inside here that make up the standard WordPress theme. So in the theme folder, we will create a new file called index.php, and that is just the main index.php. You don't actually need to put anything in there, but it needs to be in there, otherwise the theme won't work. New file, again, we're going to do functions.php. And that basically is where we put all our hooks and enqueue all our style sheets and JavaScript and anything else we want to customize on the theme, we can do through functions.php. Then we want to do the basic page template, and we also want to do the single post template. And then we will also do the front page template. So if there is a page which is set as your front page on WordPress, this will be the template that it uses. Then we will do header.php, and we'll do footer.php, and we'll do archive.php, which is the archive for blog posts. And we'll do search.php. Not that we're going to use all of these, but this is kind of the standard stuff. Search.php is the search results page for WordPress. We'll do 404.php, which is the error. If a page doesn't exist, it will go there. So those are the basic ones that I kind of use when I set up a WordPress theme. Okay, so now that we've got that set up, I'm just going to close all the files so it's nice and neat. Okay, and we're going to go and look for a theme that we can, or a template, HTML template, which we can use to then convert into a WordPress theme. Let's look online here, and on the ColorLib website, which I just Googled free restaurant website, I thought I'll do a restaurant website theme. And I saw this one, which I actually like, which is called Luigis. So what you can do is you can just go to more info and download it. Of course, if you're going to use this theme for commercial purposes, then you can purchase it. So I'd recommend doing that just to support the author. So I actually downloaded that earlier, and on my desktop, I already have Luigis.zip waiting there. And when I convert an HTML theme, I like to grab the actual folder and put it on my desktop as well, so I can easily refer to the files that are inside there. Back to our WordPress installation, if we refresh the plug or the themes page now, you should see that we have 2019, which is no longer visible, and then we have test theme, which I'm going to activate now, and that's actually our theme that we set up before. You'll notice that there's no picture here, so you can actually put a picture in there if you'd like to. And to do that, what you need to do is open up your theme folder and just drag a screenshot into there, which I created one before, which you just need to change to screenshot.png, and you have to make sure that the size of the actual image is 880 wide by 660 pixels high. So now that I've dragged it in there, if I actually just refresh the page, you should see that the screenshot is now visible with the theme. And that's it. Okay, so now that we have our theme set up, let's look at what we need to do to make this template work. Okay, so I've loaded up the template. We've got a menu at the top. We've got like a hero image. We have a bit of info here. We have some pizzas, and then we have like an accordion almost. Not an accordion, it's just like a toggle menu. And then we have a footer. So firstly, what we want to do is we want to grab the top of this page. We don't want to grab the slider or the hero and this information, because this stuff is going to be on the front page, but this is always going to be visible on every single page that you go to. As you can see, every single page shares it. So this should be in another area called the header.php. So let's go into our header.php, and we're going to then paste that part of the template into there. So we need to open up this index.html inside our text editor as well, and I'm using Sublime Text. And let's just grab the first part of it, which would just be here up until the end of header, and we'll paste that into our header.php. Then what we'll do is we'll go to the bottom of the page, and we'll grab the from footer until the end. We want to grab that, and we want to paste that into footer.php. So now we have our header and our footer, and because we're working on the front page, we want to grab the rest of the information, which is in the middle underneath header and above footer, and paste that into our front page.php. Okay, so now that we have our front page, where are we? Okay, I've lost everything. Okay. Now that we have our header and our footer and our front page, we want to go to our pages, and we want to create a new page on WordPress called, I'm going to call it Home. I'm going to publish it, and then I'm going to go into Settings on WordPress and go to Reading and change this to a static page. So that means that when WordPress loads, it's going to load a static page as the main page or the index page, and we're going to make that the home page, which I just created. We're going to save it, and then go into permalinks, and we're going to just change our permalinks so that they display nicely like this for SEO purposes. It's always better to display like that as opposed to this, and we'll just save that as well. If we go into the theme now, you should see it looks like this, which it has it doesn't even have the header. It's just got the information that we pasted into the front page, and I'll tell you why. What we need to do is go back into our theme, and we need to include both our header and footer on the front page.php template. So to do that, we just go to the top of our front page.php, and we need to do php get header, which is a function that WordPress provides us with. And we'll also go to the bottom, and we'll do php, and we'll just paste that and change it to footer. Okay, and if we refresh the screen now, we should see that our header and footer should come up now. It's still very unstyled and ugly, but if we go into the source, it basically looks like an HTML document, which is great. So now what we want to do is we want to get the style sheets and the JavaScript to work so that everything starts looking good. So to do that, go back into here, and this particular template seems to be using files from quite a few folders here. So what we're going to do, just to be safe, is grab all of these folders and we're going to drag them into our theme folder. Now that they're there, we can go back into our theme, go into our header, and we can grab all of this. Let's just see what we need to enqueue. So what we're going to do, as opposed to just keeping the style sheet links here, we're going to actually enqueue them in WordPress. And it's the right way to do things, because WordPress then knows that you're using style sheets and JavaScript. And if you use plugins that affect them at all, like caching plugins and stuff like that, they can detect that they're using them as well. If you just use it like this, then it could potentially cause problems in the future. So it's always best practice to enqueue them, or basically include them in WordPress as opposed to just in your template. So if we look here, we have a Google fonts, which we don't need to enqueue. And then these all look like they're part of the theme. So what we'll do is we'll just copy that. And what we need to do here is replace it with PHP WP head. Okay, and what we also want to do is go into our footer, and right at the bottom there, actually we'll just stay with the header firstly. What this is a function which basically hooks in scripts that are sent through our functions.php file. Okay, so we can put anything we want, hooks, filters, whatever, in our functions.php file, and it will either come up, we can direct it to come up in our head or footer of the page. So what we're going to do is set up these style sheets to enqueue through our functions.php, and then this function will run them. Okay, so let's go into our functions.php, make it a PHP file, of course, and I'm just going to paste in those scripts just so we can see what we need to do. So what we want to do firstly in our functions.php file is we want to create a function for enqueuing the style sheets. So what we'll do is we'll do function load style sheets. So that's just the name of our function. Within the function, we want to do WP register style, and then we want to give it a name. So this first one we're doing is font, so we'll just call it font. And then we want to direct it to where this is located in our template. So we need to use some PHP here so that WordPress knows the dynamic theme link, and then to that folder. So we'll do get template directory URI, and that basically grabs the template link. And then we'll do dot open inverted commas, and then we'll just grab this, paste it into there. Then what we want to do, it will ask us that there are a couple of other options in this function, and I think this one is to do with if you have any other scripts that are required or depend on this particular script. We'll just do an empty array, and then we'll do the version, which we'll just call 1, and then this will be all, which means that, you know, with some scripts they can be for print only and stuff like that. This script is just going to be for all. Okay, and then we'll do WP enqueue script, enqueue style, my bad. And then we'll just, by its name, font. So you're basically creating it, registering it, and then enqueuing that. And it's all done by this name. Okay, so we've done this one. We can just delete that one now. Let's go copy that, paste it underneath, and we'll do this one. So bootstrap. So let's just call this one bootstrap. And we will change the URL to the bootstrap one. Okay, so I will delete that one now. And let's also enqueue the swiper.css. So we'll just change this to swiper. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm just going to call it what the name of the CSS is. Delete that, and then we'll just copy another one and pretty much do the same with all of them. So paste that into there. We will call it icons. And then the last one will be styles.css. We'll just call it styles. And there is one more thing you might want to do, and that is add another style sheet, which is for your own overriding style. So we'll just create another one called custom, and inside there we will just put in the main style, the main folder, and we'll just call it custom.css. So you can so anything you type into this custom style sheet will actually override all the other styles on the theme. The last thing we want to do after we've created this function is actually make it an action so WordPress knows to use it. So we'll do add action, WP, enqueue, I believe it's scripts, or yeah, it's scripts. And then we'll do load style sheets. So that's the name of it. Done. Okay, so we've enqueued the style sheets for this particular template. So if we save it and we go into our actual project, so where's our project? Here we go. Refresh it. There we go. Okay, great. So it's still not looking 100%, but what you can see is that the pictures have started coming up, and the styles are looking a bit better now. Obviously the JavaScript is not enqueued yet, so you'll also notice that the WP, or the WordPress admin bar, which is at the top, isn't displaying, and that's because we haven't done the second part to this. So let's go back to our theme. We'll go to our footer now, and we're going to put these scripts into our functions.php and enqueue them, but we need to replace them with WP footer, and that is going to then call exactly the same way that it did with the style sheets, but with the scripts. So we'll go back to functions.php, and what we'll do is we will go down, make a bit of space here, and we're going to load scripts. Now it pretty much works exactly the same way. Function add, I'm just going to call it JS, add JS, you can call it whatever you want. And inside there we're going to do WP register script, which is a bit different. We did register style for this one. We're going to do register script. And I'm just going to paste what we're going to do. So this is going to be jQuery, okay? So with jQuery, you can actually do it a different way. It's probably better not to do it by including it this way. And I'll show you how to do that now. Actually, coming to think about it, it should be okay. We'll try it how it is, but if it doesn't work, we'll do it a different way. So what we can do is we can just do exactly the same thing. We'll just call this jQuery. Make sure you put jQuery as the top script, otherwise anything that depends on it won't work. Then you just do get template directory URI again, and then dot, inverted commas, and then you can just put in the link to jQuery. And then you pretty much do the same thing as the other one. I'm just going to do 1, 1, 1. And actually, just to clarify why I'm doing that, I'm going to go onto the WordPress site and I'm going to look at the register script function with WordPress and explain to you what it all does. So handle is the name of the actual script. And then we have source, which is the link, and then we have dependencies, which is the same as the other one. Version is the same thing, which I've just put as 1, and then the last one is in footer. So in footer means that it's actually going to display it within the footer. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. I've just lost the project here. Sorry about that. Where is it? Okay, so yes, so if you want to understand what all of these little things are, just I'll just change this to array. Actually, you can just look it up on the WordPress site, but if you follow this, it will definitely work. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to do exactly the same thing. We'll just do WP enqueue script, and then we'll just call it jQuery. And then we want to do this exactly the same thing with everything else. So let's go down here, bootstrap. And then we have swiper.js, so we'll just call it swiper. And then the last one is just the basic common scripts. Now, if you wanted to add your own custom JavaScript file as well, you can. So you could just do the same thing. We'll just call it custom, and we'll also make it inside the theme custom.js. So now that we've done that, we'll do a new file. We'll call it custom.js within the theme, and also we forgot to do the custom.css as well. Okay, so now that we've enqueued that, let's save it and then go back into our theme and see what happens there. Great, okay, so now as you can see, the header bar is working because we've included that WP footer. What seems to not be working right now is the images, which we can, apart from the images that are included within the CSS automatically. So this image is actually included in the CSS. If we have a look here, you'll notice that it's a background in there. That's why it's working. If we actually go into the inspector, we should see in our console if there's errors. So basically there's no CSS or JavaScript errors. The only errors are the image errors. So let's go and make these images work. So the link to the logo, for example, if we copy the address and paste it in, is within an images folder. If we go into our theme folder, where's my theme folder? We have an images folder which we pasted over. So this should be relatively easy. If we go into our header and we look for that image, you'll notice that it's just linking to images. We need to tell WordPress the dynamic URL of the images folder so it works. So we'll do PHP blog info template directory. There we go. And now the logo should come up perfectly. There we go. So we have our logo there. What else are we missing? We're missing these pizza images. So if we go to our front page, you'll notice that we have all the images here that aren't working. What we'll do is we'll just do a find and replace. So we'll do replace and we'll do images, and then we'll just replace it with like that. Done. Okay, let's refresh it now. Great. Okay, so looks like that's all good. Now if we go into our footer, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're just going to replace images with that, save it, refresh. Fantastic. Okay, so it's all working now, which is great. So now we have the front page done, and this information here is still within the actual template. It's not something you can just go into, say, your home page and edit it easily. Now there's a few problems with the setup of this website that is going to make it quite difficult for us to kind of edit the content in this type of format. As you know, with WordPress, it's just one box, and we can't basically unless we're going to paste this code, which I'll show you how we could do it if you really wanted to, which definitely isn't the right way to do it. And you can't do it because it's got dynamic PHP in here, but you could basically paste this code into there and then edit the code within the editor, which is what we don't want to do. It kind of sounds like we need some way to create custom fields here so that when we edit them, they then change on our front page. So if we want to edit this part, we could go here and maybe there'll be a box there for just that part. And what we'd use for that is a plugin called Advanced Custom Fields. So what we can do is go to our plugins, and Advanced Custom Fields is probably the best plugin available for WordPress, in my opinion. Maybe that and Gravity Forms are two of the top plugins, but Advanced Custom Fields is free. Well, there's a free component, but you can also get the Pro version, which provides you with a bit more functionality. I'm going to use the free one, and then if we need the Pro, I'll install the Pro because I have it, and you'll see what the Pro can do as well. So just look it up, Advanced Custom Fields, and we'll just download Advanced Custom Fields and install it. And once that's installed, we should be able to add in these fields. Okay, great. So let's activate it. I'm sorry about the slowness of this. And then you'll see custom fields on the left-hand side. If you click into custom fields and you go into add new, let's go back to our theme. And what we'll just do is we'll create a custom field that is just for the front page. So we'll call it front page. And inside, oh, actually, it's not a custom field. It's like a custom field category, I guess. Now that we have front page created, we'll go into add field and let's see what we need to edit. So we want to edit the hero image. We want to be able to edit all this text here. We also want to be able to edit this title and this information here. And then we want to edit bestsellers and all that sort of stuff. We want to edit our menu, and then we want to edit the footer as well. So the footer can be done differently, which is fine. So let's just see what we can do here. Firstly, we'll create a group for the hero image. So let's go group. We'll call it hero. And inside the group, you should be able to create extra fields. So the first thing will be, I'll just call that I'll call it the small title. As you can see, when you create it and then you click here, it automatically creates the field ID, which is cool. And that's going to be a text. Okay, so it's just text we need to type in there. And then we're going to create another one called main title. Oops, main title. And that's text as well. And then see today's menu is a link. And it's also text. So what we want to do is create one called link text. And then another one, as you can see, that's text as well. And then we want to create a link. And we'll change that to a link. And make sure that it only uses the link URL. So when we use the PHP to grab the data, it will just give us the URL, which we can link to that. Okay, great. So we've got that. And then we want to attribute it to the actual front page. So we can go to page type and then front page. Now we'll publish that and we'll go into pages and we'll go into our home page. And you'll notice now that we have our hero image. Now I'm going to type this, let's change the title to my first website. Main title will be welcome to my restaurant. The link text will be click here now. And the link, it will link to another page which doesn't exist on my website yet. So don't worry about that right now. We'll just update the page and voila, you should see that, oh, okay, no, it hasn't changed. Why? All right, cool. All right, so we've done one part of it, which is the actual backend part, which we add the content into the database. Now in the template, we need that custom field to display. So let's go back into our theme, into our front page. I'll get out of the other things. Now let's call the hero group, or the hero group. So let's do PHP. Actually, what we can do to make life easier when you're using advanced custom fields, you can actually look up all of the things. They got really good documentation. So with groups, how it works is you'll just grab the name of the group and then you can use it kind of like an array. Okay, so let's call the group. So PHP, let's call it hero equals get field, and the name of our field, if we go into our custom fields front page, it's actually called hero. So get field. So now that we have the data, we can do PHP echo hero, and if we look inside hero, we have these fields. So that's small title. Okay, cool. So let's go into our theme now and see what happens. Great. Okay, so my first website is now there. We can obviously go into pages, home, and change this to whatever we want. So just update that and then refresh it. And there you go. It's changed automatically, which is great. Okay, I'll change it back now. Now pretty much you have to do exactly the same thing with the other things. So just grab that, and we called it main title. So we'll do main title. Refresh it. There you go. Welcome to my restaurant. And then see today's menu will be, let's just see what that is. Link text. Cool. So we'll just grab that, put that there. Link text. Refresh it. Click here now. Okay, we click on it, it's not working. Okay, because the link hasn't been set up. But then again, we don't even have a link. But if we want to use this link here, we need to basically do something like this. We'll do an if statement. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger so we can figure out what's going on here. Okay. We need to do an if statement so that it won't actually show that button unless the link is there. So firstly, if we do have a link, we'll do PHP if hero link, and then PHP end if. And exactly the same thing on, actually no, we'll do it on the H5 here. Okay, so it won't actually display if there's no link. And also we want to do PHP within here, PHP echo hero link. So if the link exists, then show the link, and then when you click on it, it will go to that link URL. So I'll refresh it now. The button should be gone. That whole button should be gone. There we go. Okay. But if we then go into our home page and then we add a link, which we can't, so I'm just going to go and create a test page. Let's call it test page. Actually, we'll call it About Us because we're going to do the About Us page after this one. Go back into all pages, go back to home, and then go to link, and you'll see About Us there. We'll just click Add About Us, update it, go back to our theme, refresh it, the link will work now, and if we click on it, it will actually take us to the About Us page, which is blank, of course. Okay, so we've done that first part, and then we have the second part here, and pretty much it works exactly the same way. But with WordPress, as you probably know, you can't really do a two-column layout. So what I would suggest is creating a group which you can call column 1 and column 2, which I will just do now. We may as well do it because, so it is the front page. So we're just going to create another group on the front page, and we're just going to call it main information. We'll create another group and we'll create a text area. Actually, we'll call it a WYSIWYG editor, and we'll call it left side, and we'll also duplicate that and we'll make one for the right side. Okay, and we'll also we'll just update that. Now if we go back to our home page, we should see left side and right side. They don't look too good that way. We might want to actually put them side by side. So go back to there, and if we want to change the width of this wrapper to 50% and the width of the right side wrapper to 50% and update it, We'll go back to home now, and we should see left side and right side now. Fantastic. Okay, we'll go and get some basic lorem ipsum text. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's just so much easier to fill up content. So let's just grab that, and we're going to paste it onto the left side, and we'll paste it into the right side as well. Now you don't need to do a YSWG editor. You can also use just the standard text, which means that you can't paste any styles into there. Okay, so once we update that and we look at the page, oh, it's still not really working. It's still got the old stuff there. And that's, again, the reason why that is because we actually haven't added it in. So we can do exactly the same thing by doing PHP, we'll just call it info equals, and what's the name of our group now? Let's just have a look. The name of our group is main information. Get field, main information. And then we need to do here, inside here, we'll do PHP echo info left side, and then exactly the same thing with the other one, but on the right side. So let's go and refresh it now. Great, okay. One thing you'll notice if we look in the actual text is that for some reason this has brought over another paragraph, and that's because I've pasted it in from another website. If we actually go into the text version of here, you'll notice that it's pasted over all these styles. Just be sure that when you paste in stuff from other websites, you paste it in through the text editor so that it doesn't actually bring in all the styles and all that stuff with it, because you don't want to be putting other styles into your website. It can ruin your design. Okay, so there we go. And if we refresh this, you'll also notice that, again, that there is actually a paragraph within the paragraph. So what we want to do is we want to actually remove the paragraphs from here, because what you see is what you get editor with advanced custom fields automatically inputs those p tags around the content. Okay, so there we go. We have the information there, both left side and right side. If we refresh the home page and we just add whatever we want and just hit update, exactly the same thing. Left side, right side, and it looks like it's all responsive, which is great. So that's how you do that. Okay, going further down the page, we have bestsellers. Now, you can do this in a couple of different ways. You could obviously create a custom post type, which will basically pull the data from the custom post type, and you can kind of have like your menu set up that way. Or you can use advanced custom fields repeater field to just basically add the information as you want on the front page. So what we'll do is we'll use the advanced custom fields repeater field to do that. Let's go back into custom fields, and let's then add a new, no, it's going to be in the same group because it's on the front page. We'll do add field, and we'll look, does it have the repeater field? No, and that's the problem. So Advanced Custom Fields is a fantastic plugin, as you can see, but the free version doesn't have something called the repeater field. Now, it would be better to use Advanced Custom Fields Pro. So I'm just going to go into my plugins, and I'm going to install Advanced Custom Fields Pro, and that will give us that functionality. You can purchase or get Advanced Custom Fields somehow online from other websites if you'd like, and install it into here, and it will be much better for you. Okay, so I'm just installing Advanced Custom Fields Pro, and I believe I can install it with the free plugin and then just remove the free plugin. Okay, good. So yep, we'll just deactivate that now. delete it. Okay, great. So what we want to do now inside the custom fields plugin is go into our front page one again and do add field, and we want to choose repeater. And we're going to call this best sellers because that's what it is on the front page here. Obviously you can use advanced custom fields to change these titles as well, and I would just definitely do the way I did by creating a custom field within the group and just adding it in and changing it. Same thing here. I'm not going to spend too much time doing all these titles. Okay, so with the repeater, what are some of the things that are standard? We have a picture, then we have a title, price, and a order now. Okay, so we'll call it image, and we'll give it a field type of image. And then we'll do title, and that's just going to be the standard text. And then there is also a price, which I believe will just pretty much be the same thing. So it'll just be text as well. And then we'll have link. We'll just call it link again. And we'll actually give it the field type of link. Just got to find it here, link. Okay, I can't find link for some reason. It's called page link now. And then we'll also do, well, the link text we don't really need to do because it's all going to just be order now. So that's done. So we'll update that now. We'll go to our pages and we'll go to our home page. And you'll notice here that we've had a bit of a problem here with Advanced Custom Fields Pro. There seems to be some sort of issue here. And I think that might be due to the plugin not being the latest version. So I'm just going to quickly update that, and that should fix the problem. Okay, I've just updated Advanced Custom Fields Pro and it's fixed that issue. If we go further down now, we should see something called best sellers, but I've actually made a mistake here. So we're going to go back to custom fields again, go back into our front page, and for some reason I didn't actually do it the right way. So let's delete that. We'll delete that as well. And yeah, we're going to pretty much delete that and delete that. And we want to go into our best sellers, and because it's a repeater field, we want to do it within the repeater field. So we'll do image again. We'll give it the field type of image. We'll do title, which we give a field type of text. We'll do price, which is a field type of text as well. And we'll do page link, or, oh, it's link again. Okay, so the latest version has changed it back. There was a problem with that version of the Pro that I was using. Make sure that it's a link URL, and then we'll update that. So once you've done that, now we have the best sellers user interface set up. You should see underneath here, it says add row there. You can actually go into the best sellers thing and make it say add best seller if you want to. Refresh it, and there we go, add bestseller. Okay, so the first bestseller we want to add, let's just grab this image, put it on the desktop, and we'll use that image. And where is that image? There we go. Okay, we're going to upload that image, and then we're going to call it, I don't know, margarita pizza. And we'll give it a price of $20, and then, you know, we can link it to whatever page we want. I'll just link it to the About Us page, and then I'll update that. And as you already know, because we haven't made the template pull that data, it's not going to come up. Okay. So with the repeater field, what's basically going to happen is all of these things are going to go, and we're just going to have one of them, and it's going to repeat. So go into your browser, go to ACF repeater, and it should provide you with some code that you can use rather than typing it out from scratch. I would recommend using the advanced loop, and we will just grab that and we will paste it into this template. Okay, we're going to change a lot of it. But this is the thing that repeats. This is one block. This is basically one pizza with the price and the name in the template right now. So we want to grab that, and we want to then, I'm going to delete pretty much quite a lot of things here. We'll just delete all this. We'll delete that. We'll delete that. We'll delete that. Okay, cool. So this is the, within here is the actual, I'm going to delete this as well, sorry. This is the loop. So if you have a repeater, it's going to loop over and it's going to show you all of the items you've added into that field or into that repeater. So I'll paste that in, which means that we can delete all of this stuff. I'm also going to put the end row into here, and I'm going to put the start row into here. So basically what that means is that if there are no best sellers, then this area actually won't come up at all. If there are best sellers, then it will. Actually, to do that, we need to grab this whole section and put it within that if statement. And we also need to grab the bottom of the section and put it underneath here. There we go. So if there are no best sellers, nothing's going to come up. Now we need to get the row name, which I believe is best sellers. So best underscore sellers. And you can obviously change it within the template to whatever you want, you know, the best pizzas or whatever. If we refresh it, you should see now that we have the best pizzas. We have one pizza there, but that's not the data we've actually entered in. That's something different because we haven't actually put the variables of the repeater field into that specific thing. So what we need to do underneath the row, we need to create our variables. The first thing is going to be image. So get subfield image. Because it's a repeater, it's a subfield. And then the title would be get subfield title. And we'll just copy that and do price. And then the last one will be link. So we'll replace pizza margarita with PHP echo title. And we will replace the price with echo price. And you can change it, you know, change order now button to whatever you want. So check it out, for example. Okay, and then we'll refresh it. And there we go. So we have margarita pizza, which is what I called it. We changed the link to check it out. And also because we have a link there, we need to do an if statement around this. We'll do PHP if link, PHP end if. Okay, and we will do PHP echo link. So there we go. It goes to the About Us page, which we linked it to. The 20 has doesn't have a $sign in front of it, so we'll just put a $sign there. And you'll notice that this particular pizza has a little ribbon here that says offer. We might want to change that or make it available so that on some pizzas we can put that and some others we can't. So to do that, we just want to go to our custom fields page and we'll go into best sellers, and inside this repeater we'll create a new field and we'll call it a true or false field, and we'll call it just offer. Okay, and basically if it is an offer, it will be true, and if it isn't, it will be false, and therefore we won't show the picture or that offer ribbon. So we won't make this an offer, but we'll create another one and we'll use the same image and we'll call it test pizza and we'll call it $30. We'll make it go to the about, actually we won't give it a link, and we'll make it an offer. Okay, and we'll update that. Let's refresh it now. And one thing I actually haven't done is change the image to make it dynamic, which I'll show you shortly. But with this ribbon, what we can do is we'll bring in that field, which is called offer, get sub field offer. And we'll do PHP if offer, PHP end if. And you can obviously change this to whatever you want. We can make it, sale, and then refresh it, and there you go. So that has a sale and that doesn't. But if we go into the bestsellers and we make that an offer and make that not an offer and update it, same thing. Okay, so that works, and you also notice there's no button there because it doesn't have a link associated with it. The last thing with this one is the image. Now the image, if we just say go here and do PHP echo image, it's not going to work, because if we actually look at the source code, image is kind of, it's not just a link or a URL to that image. It's more of like an object or an array with data. So if we go back to ACF, we do ACF image. It will be image URL. And then refresh it now. And there we go. But you'll notice the image looks a bit strange. It doesn't look like how the image was before, because the image that we uploaded was automatically resized to the size of 200 by 200, which is WordPress's, I guess, default image settings. We want to actually make our own image sizes when we upload images onto WordPress. And to do that, you can easily do it using your functions.php file. And let's just go down here and we'll go custom image sizes, and we'll do add image size. We'll just call it product image large, and we'll make that 700 by 700, and we won't hard crop it. If you want to hard crop it, you can do true, and it will just automatically hard crop it to that size. And then you can do product image small. And maybe make it 400 by 400, and we won't hard crop that either. So what you can do now is you have that product, the image name, and you can do image sizes and then the name. Okay, refresh it now, and it's still not working, or it kind of did work, but it's not doing it the right way, because it's not pulling that image size. So if we go into our plugins, we need to regenerate the images. So WordPress has a plugin which can allow us to regenerate the images, and what that's going to do is just basically process the images again and then recreate them at those sizes that we've requested. So force, I think it's force images, force regenerate. That's the plugin that I'm looking for anyway. There we go. Force regenerate thumbnails. Okay, so once you do that, any existing images in the media gallery will start being resized to the sizes that you've just created. Any new images you upload won't be affected, but if we'll just do force regenerate. Cool, and that's force regenerated the images. And as you can see, they're back to how they were before. But I've just done a hard refresh, which is control refresh, and then they've come out like that again. But the images that I have actually uploaded are quite small, and they're 200 wide by 200 high. And if we look at functions, you'll see that the small one is 400 by 400. WordPress cannot resize an image that you upload that is smaller than the size that you've set. So that's why the image is still coming up as 200 by 200. What we want to do to test this and see if it works properly is we'll go and get a picture of a pizza, a really large picture of a pizza, or 600 by 600. Actually, we'll try and get something even larger. We'll just do large. And hopefully it's a PNG file. So that's reasonably large. And we will then replace that with this one. Now the image is 1000 by 989, but the website is automatically going to resize it and then display the image at the 400 by 400 size. Okay, so if we refresh it, you should see that it's 400 by 396, sorry, because the image itself isn't 400, an exact square, it can't resize it. If you set the settings in functions.php to true, that will hard crop it to 400 by 400, but it may cut off some of the pizza. So as you can see, that's kind of how it's working right now. I'm not sure why it's doing that. It's a bit weird. But yeah, with the repeat field, you can, drag the order of the pizzas. So you can move it and that the sort order of the pizzas will change. So that's how the repeater field works. And if you look at See Today's Menu, that's exactly the same thing. You might want to just add that as a custom field, or you can just remove it altogether. Now, if we go further down on this website, we have quite a few other things here, which for some reason this menu isn't working, which is kind of doing my head in. So let's see why that is not working. There must be some sort of jQuery error or JavaScript error. No, it doesn't seem like there's any error there. If you give me a minute, I'll work it out and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I figured out the issue there. Actually, I'm looking at an old version of this site. Second. The issue has to do with JavaScript actually not working. So I'll actually, I ended up reverting back to an old version of the site. Okay, 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry about this. Okay, we're looking at the theme, that's why. Okay, cool. All right, JavaScript, we missed one thing on our JavaScript. So when we enqueued it, we didn't actually run the function, and I always make this mistake. So as you can see, we have this. We want to make it as well. We want to do enqueue scripts, and we do add.js. And if we refresh it now, it still doesn't seem to be working. So let's see why. It says $sign is not a function, and that is a jQuery error. It's basically saying jQuery is not working. jQuery isn't working because if we go back in here, you'll notice that we called this jQuery. And because jQuery, that is kind of like a reserved name. I think WordPress does ship with jQuery in it sometimes. What we want to do on top of that is do wp register script. And if we refresh it, it should then load jQuery. So now we have everything working how we want it to. All right. So now that we've done this part, we want to go down to our menu, and I'm going to show you how to do this. After that, I'm going to show you how to make the menu work with WordPress, and then we'll set up another page, and then that will be it. This has been quite a long tutorial already. Okay, so let's create the repeater. We're going to use another repeater for this field here. So go into here, go to custom fields, go to front page, and what is this exactly? It's just the menu. So we'll just call it our menu. And it's going to be another repeater field. And within the repeater field, we're actually going to have a category name. So we're going to have another repeater field within our repeater field, if that makes sense. So as you can see, the menu has multiple categories. So we want to do a repeater field called category. And that's already within our menu repeater field. So then we can add multiple categories, and within each category, we can add a image for the food item. Make sure you make the field type as an image. And then we can do title and description. So title and that's it's text field type, and then description. And what we'll do here is we'll do text area, so it's not actually styled. Okay, so now that we'll update that, and we'll go back into there, and we'll just change something. We'll make this as add category, and then within this repeater, we will do add menu item. Great. Okay, so now we've set up the UI for that. Go back into our home page, and we'll see our menu at the bottom here. We'll add a category, and we'll call our category. Actually, we missed something, and I'm sorry for making so many mistakes here, guys. We'll go to front page again with advanced custom fields, go into our menu, and we want, within this repeater, we want to actually put a title. So that's the category name. Actually, my bad, it's not there. Inside category, we want to put okay, what have I done here? I've done something wrong and I can't figure it out. Yeah, no, that's completely fine. That's completely fine. What we want to do here is category name. And update it. It starts getting confusing when you've got repeaters within repeaters. Okay, so we have add category, and then you have category name, and then you have the category menu items. Okay, so let's just do one called pizzas, and we'll also do one called sides. And look, sometimes it's not the ideal way to do things. You might want to create custom post types. I'll do that in a different tutorial, but this one we'll be using ACF for that. So then we'll add, cheese pizza, and we'll just use some basic text. We'll also do barbecue meat lovers, and do some text there. With sides, we'll do salad, add the content there, and then we'll do like garlic bread, and paste that there. Okay, so we have two categories, and within each category we have two menu items. So again, let's go to ACF repeater on Google. Go to the ACF site, copy that loop, and let's give it a go. So the first thing we want to do is go down to where this menu is. You'll notice, because this is kind of like a toggle menu, we need to firstly change that, and then we need to, it's kind of like we're going to call the repeater twice. Okay, so this is the top part where you click on the actual links. So I'm going to create the repeater, and we're just going to go into custom fields and find out what the names are to all of that. So it's called our menu. The repeater is called our menu. I'm going to get rid of all this garbage here so it's clean. And within our menu, we want to get the subfield, which is the category name and the category. Okay, so category name equals get subfield category name. And then the category, or the menu items, will be get subfield category. Okay, so if we say PHP echo category name, and just refresh it and have a look at our theme, we should see the two categories we created, pizza and sides, okay? So now what we want to do is we want to grab that, put it within here. Then get the outer surrounding divs and UL and put it within there so it's not within the loop. And then we want to obviously only have one of these LIs, or list items. So we will do PHP echo category name. And as you can see, the active one, it's called active. So we'll just give it a class of active. And you'll notice each one has its own data select, which is kind of like the unique identifier for that particular category, which we're going to have to somehow use PHP to convert that into like a slug. So with WordPress, there's a function called sanitize title. We can do PHP echo sanitize title category name. And there we go. Done. Okay, so let's save that, refresh it. Pizzas and sides. Great. Okay, but they seem to be both active, or one of them's active, but if you actually look at not sure what happened there. Sorry about that. I can't stand it when that happens. Both of them seem to be active. If we actually go into the content, you'll notice here that they both have, oh, okay, no, they don't. JavaScript has changed that, which is great. Okay, so now that we have our top level, we then need to get our bottom level, okay, which is the actual where all the menus are. So let's grab this and basically repeat it again. We'll copy it, we'll delete everything out of it. And this is going to be a repeater of the menu items. So let's go into here and grab the row, paste it there, and put the end row here. And we will grab this information here and paste it there. So that basically represents one single menu item. And then we can just delete everything else. Actually, looking at it, it's got food menu and then it's got the name pizza. So that is going to be the unique identifier. Okay, so let's just delete the row. Good, okay. So if we go back and refresh this, I'm looking at an old version again. Sorry about that. Still doesn't work. Nothing's come up there. Okay, so now that we're repeating our menu category names, let's just do a sanitized title and change pizza to that. And now inside our food menu, we need to do another repeater because this is actually an individual item within the menu. So let's grab this and do have rows, and then we want to do a repeater within a repeater. I'll just grab all of this. That's the actual for each loop, and then we want to do end if, and we want to grab that as well and put that there. So yeah, essentially, sorry if I'm confusing you, but essentially we have a repeater within a repeater. And now within each category or each repeated category, the field is called category. Okay, so let's just save that. If we refresh the screen now, we should notice that items should come up on the actual, yeah, there we go, good. Okay, so now when we click on pizza and sides, both two items come up. So we need to now identify the different items within each one. So within this repeater field, we want to change it so that it has if we go back to our field, we'll go and refresh it to our menu. It will be image, title, description. Okay, so let's change this to title equals get sub field title, description equals get sub field description. I think I missed out on price there. which will add in PHP echo title and then PHP echo description. Let's refresh it and have a look. Okay, we've got the name, we've got the descriptions. There we go, as you can see. Now the prices, so let's add price there, which is a text field. We'll do price equals get sub field price. Just add the price in there after the $sign. And then the image, obviously. So how we did the image before on the previous setup was that we just did image sizes, all that sort of stuff. You can kind of do the same thing. Just copy it and change it. You can obviously change menu image alt tag to PHP echo title for SEO purposes. And then what we'll do is we'll refresh it. And you'll notice that no images will come up because we haven't set, okay, so what's actually happened here is that that image from the top has come up, which is really, really strange. The price hasn't come up either. Sometimes these things can conflict with each other. So what you can do at the end here is do WP reset query. And that sometimes can fix issues that you have with okay, so it seems to still be doing the same thing with the image. And the reason is because we haven't set up image as another variable. We're only using the one from up there. So let's change image to be equals get sub field image. And now what will happen is if we refresh it, the image won't come up. So let's do an if statement to say that, you know, if there's no image, then don't show an image. So PHP if then no image, PHP if image, and then PHP end if. Sorry if my code is a bit messy, guys. Hope I haven't confused you too much. We'll refresh it now, and we should see that the images won't come up, but you'll notice that there's still that indentation which you might not like, so you can always make the if to be there after the div. Refresh it again, and maybe the indentation should go, hopefully. It doesn't seem to be going, so it looks like it's more of a style sheet thing that you'll need to do to fix that. The price isn't there because obviously the price hasn't been set. So I'm just going to refresh this, go down and put, 25, 20, 10, 5, whatever. And we'll use the same image for each one. I'll change it to that one. And just update it, refresh it, there you go. So now we have the prices with the names and the descriptions, and obviously if you could make it that if there's no price then it just says $0 or something like that. I'll leave that to you. Okay, so that's how you do that menu part. That was a bit complicated, but hopefully you got through that. The last couple of things I'm going to show you is how to make this menu work. So right now the menu is just, let's go into the header. You'll see that the menu just looks like that. We want this to work with the WordPress menu. So if we go into WordPress and we go to appearance, there should be something here that says menus, and there isn't. And we need to tell WordPress to support menus. So the first thing we need to do is go into our functions.php and do add theme support menus. And save it, refresh it, we should see appearance and then menus there now. Let's create a new menu, we'll call it top menu. Okay, great. And then we have home and about us. Let's just paste it into there and save it like that. Now we also need to create a menu location. So a menu location is basically, you can set the location where you want this menu to be. You can have it in multiple locations, and then you basically put the location PHP code inside the theme wherever you want that specific location. So to do that, we need to go into our functions.php again. As you can see, functions is used a lot. We will do register nav menus, and within there we will do another array, and then we'll do top menu underscore underscore open brackets top menu. That's the name, whatever you want to call it. You can call it whatever you want, and then we'll just put theme there. And also we'll just close this off. So register menus and menu support. Okay, so let's refresh it now. You should see now the top menu location comes up, and we'll just save that. Okay, so now that we have a menu, we can just call that main menu. It doesn't have to be called top menu. So now that we want to grab this top menu location and put it into our theme somehow. So to do that, we want to go to our header, and where this menu is located here, we want to change this and put PHP WP nav menu. Within there, we want to do an array, and within that array, we want to do theme location, and we'll link it to the slug of the menu location. So as you can see, it's called top menu. Okay, top menu, and then we want to just close that off. And if we go to our theme, we should see those two menu items there, about us and home, right? Now we just want that to be within, we want it to replace these ones. As you can see, this particular menu has a few things here that we need for it to work. So within the menu, we want to do menu class, and we want to do main menu. So copy these things here. Okay, I'm just going to comment that out, that menu. We'll refresh it now. It still didn't actually do what we wanted to do. So let's see why it's not doing that. Because it's actually given the class to a container surrounding it's actually given it to the container surrounding the menu as opposed to the UL. So I believe we need to change it to something that is a bit different. Go back to our header. We'll do, I think it might be container class. I might have to look this up. We'll just refresh and see what it does. No, it's not doing that. So why isn't it doing that? Okay, I'm just going to do a bit of research and I'll get back to you in a second. Okay, I have managed to figure it out. So we'll delete this menu class, and what we'll do is menu, and we'll give it the ID of main menu. As you can see, that's the ID there. And then underneath that, we'll do container. And we're going to tell the container to actually be the UL, which is the unordered list. And then underneath that, we're going to give it these classes. So we'll do menu class is that. And that should be it. So I'll just delete that and we'll refresh it. And there you go. Great. The only thing that is different is that the content is they're not caps. So if you want them to be capitalized, you need to capitalize the titles on your pages, or on your menu items anyway. So you could do this. You could make that home, and you can make that about us. Okay, so there we go. We have the actual menu now working, which is good, and it's all by the looks of it. Is it going to be mobile friendly, or let's have a look. I'm just going to open up this in a new browser window. Okay, the menu doesn't seem to be actually working, which is a bit strange. If we go back to our to the actual theme itself, let's see if it actually works. Okay, that does work. So what are we doing wrong here? Let's have a look. Or what am I doing wrong here? Okay. If we actually look at the menu, the unordered list is called menu main menu. I think we need to make sure that it's called main menu. We don't want it to be called menu main menu. So let's see what we can do to change that. One simple thing we need to do is menu ID instead of menu. And I believe that should fix the problem there. So let's try that out now. We'll go back to our theme and we'll see if it works. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll just open it up in... Fantastic. Okay, good. All right, so far I've shown you how to use advanced custom fields to edit the content. I've also shown you how to add the menu. The footer is pretty standard, so you could do that with the knowledge you've already gained. So just the last thing I'm going to show you is the About Us page, or any page, any subpage. If we go into the actual project and we go to page.php, that is actually the template for that. So let's go into this theme and we're just going to go to the About Us page. We'll open it up in our editor. We have the header, we have the footer, we have all that stuff. How does this page actually look? Best in town. Cool. So what we're going to do is we'll just grab this all the way to the footer. Oops. All the way to the footer. And then paste it into our page. Make sure that you also, with all of your pages, all your page templates, you put the header and the footer at the top, or the PHP code. And let's now go to our About Us page. What I'm going to do is just change the page so that it's the home is first. Okay. Okay, for some reason it's not doing that. So that's actually really strange right there. So let's figure out why that's happening. Okay, and the reason why that's happening is because, as you know, when I created this location, let me just go get the project again. We call it top underscore menu. It should be top dash menu to reflect that name there. Okay, so if we refresh it now, it should show home and then about afterwards. Beautiful. We'll go into About Us and then it automatically has all that stuff that we had there before that we pasted in there. So all we need to do obviously is go into the page and do a find and replace on all the images so that so I've already got it preset from before. Replace all, refresh it, there we go. So that is pretty much it. The only last thing I'm going to show you is the featured image. So at the top here, this image here may very well be an image that is... Let's have a look here and see. Okay, so it's something that's included in the actual style sheet, but you might want to use this kind of area here, and you might want to, depending on which page you're using, the header to be different or the image to be different. I'll show you how to do that shortly, but one thing I noticed that we used page.php for this About Us page, which means that every other page we create is going to be exactly the same thing. So if I create, contact us, and go into appearance, and then we go into menus and we add in contacts and refresh it. Oops, we're in the theme there, the template. We'll go to contact. You'll see that's exactly the same thing. We don't want that, obviously. We want each template to be different. So to do that, what we need to do is now grab all the data out of that page.php that we pasted in there. And we want to create a custom page template, which will be called template-about.php. You can call it whatever you want. And then at the top, you want to do / or asterisk, I think it's / sorry, do PHP / template name, and we'll call it about, and then asterisk and / and close it. And then you obviously want to put the get header, and then at the bottom you want to put get footer, and then you want to paste that within there. Now, when we go into our About Us page, we can tell that page to use that template. But you'll notice that there's no template coming up, which is very strange. On the right-hand side, you can't actually see the option to use that template that we've just created. And that is firstly because I should put the template name at the top there. And then you'll notice that I've actually put it in the wrong area. So I haven't put it in my actual theme folder. We need to paste it into our theme folder. We'll call it template about.php. Guys, I'm really sorry about all the mistakes, but it's good for me to make mistakes so that you can see the common errors. Okay, if we refresh it now, we should see template name or template option, and then you should see the about there. And then if we refresh the page, contact is blank because we actually deleted all of the information out of the contact page or out of the page template. But if you go to About Us, you'll see that it's there. Then what we want to do is go into our About Us page and then change a couple of things, like this one, About Our Pizzeria. That's actually the title of the page. So we'll do PHP the title, which will grab the title page. Change this to whatever you want, or use advanced custom fields to change all of this information in here. The last thing I want to show you is featured images. Now, featured images, each page can have a featured image, and then instead of you including the image for each page in the style sheet, you can include it in the featured image, and it will just call it dynamically. So if we go into edit this page, on the right hand side you should see something that says featured images, but you can't. So what you need to do firstly is you need to allow the theme to allow you to do featured images. So go into functions.php, and then you could add something that says add theme support, and then do post thumbnails. I'll actually put that underneath there, and we'll just do theme support. Okay, and refresh the page now, and we should see that we have a featured image available on the right hand side. Then what we could do is we could just go and put in any image we want. So let's just go look for a large pizza image. We'll grab that one, save it. It's making me hungry now. Save it onto the desktop, and then we will just drag it in. We'll attach that featured image to the actual post. Go back to the page. Nothing's there yet because we need to now tell WordPress to put that image in there. And in this particular theme, the actual image here in the background is set in the style sheet of this thing here, so of this section. So we need to do some style overrides. So to do that, we'll just create a new style here, and then we will do background URL and close it, and then do important as well. And then within here, we want to do a PHP function, PHP the post thumbnail URL. Okay, we'll refresh that. There you go. So now we have the post thumbnail in the background instead of the other image. So it kind of overrides it. You'll notice that it's not covered, it's kind of repeating there. So need to do a couple of other styles. One which says background size, cover, important. And then refresh it again, and then it should cover the whole thing. Another thing is that your featured image might be absolutely massive. So you might not want it to be, if you upload a 3 megabyte image, you don't want it to be 3 megabytes. So as I showed you before, if you go and create a new image size, and we'll just call it hero image, and we'll do it 1200 by 600 or something like that. and we'll do true, so we'll crop it. We'll go back into our template and we'll do hero, so it's going to use that hero size. And then let's just go to our force regenerate thumbnails and regenerate all of our images. And we'll do about us now, and you should see the image will look a bit slightly blurrier, but it still is, it's cropped to the size that we wanted it to. So if we go here, you'll notice that it's 1200 by 600 now, which will increase the size of the speed size of your website. For some reason, these images aren't loading. So let's just go back to our about page again and just see why they're not loading. For some reason, it reverted back to what it was before. So we'll just replace all again and we'll refresh. There you go. Cool. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this tutorial. It's a 1.5 hour tutorial, my longest ever done. Obviously, there's tons of other stuff you can do, but hopefully this has given you an idea of how you can do it yourself. And what I've taught you will maybe help you get all the other stuff done. If you have any questions, please write them below. And yeah, good luck with everything. Thank you.